Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Eldlich Yugioh deck profile for post-Blazing Vortex. I wanted to do an update. I actually would guess this is my first Eldlich deck, so not really an update to the channel, but the updated version for post-Blazing Vortex. It's a really, powerful deck. I was about to say interesting, but powerful is definitely the word for it, being one of the top decks at the moment. Wanting to focus on more of a pure Eldlich build, if a lot of you recommend it and request it. I'll probably do one that mixes in the Evil Twins as well, but for now we're just sticking to the new fusion support we received in the Blazing Vortex booster pack, along with the original support that came out in Secret Slayers for a, like I said, pretty powerful zombie deck profile. So let's go ahead and get started with the video. So for the monsters and some of the cards in the deck, I am missing a few numbers. This isn't a deck I was looking to finish, especially with a ban list right around the corner, which I know they're probably going to end up hitting this deck, so we may even have to update this deck at some point in March. But for the monsters, you want to run 3 Eldlich, the Golden Lord. This was actually reprinted in Gold Rare recently, making it a lot more affordable, but still a good number of the cards in the deck are expensive. You can send this card and 1 spell or trap from your hand to the graveyard to target 1 card on the field, and send it to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 spell or trap you control to a graveyard to add this card to your hand. Then you can special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand. If you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by card effect. You can only use each of the following of Eldlich, the Golden Lord, once per turn. So this is your main go-to monster in the entire deck, with the focus being a pretty trap-heavy deck and being able to utilize the different numbers of Eldlich, the Golden Lord, for all the different summons, and then a few other extra deck plays, and also being the main requirement needed for your fusion monster, which is Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. For the other monster I run in the deck, I just run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, actually being a benefit in the deck for the fact that this card is a zombie monster, and then just working off of your Eldlich for setup if need be. You want to usually go for another Eldlich with Eldlich's monster effect, but you have the option with Ash Blossom just being another zombie monster, just for the special summon and for the fact that when you want to activate this card, for the option just having an extra monster on the field, but most of the time you want to keep in your hand for the purpose it was meant to be, which is a hand trap, and just stick to special summoning all the different Eldlich Golden Lords from our hand onto the field. And like I said, that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Cursed Eldland. When I collected this card up for this deck profile, I actually had no clue how much this card spiked in price, which is crazy. And like I said, I'm not sure what cards they'll hit for this deck. I haven't really kept up in the meta as much for, broken cards, but did, learn a good amount of it for this deck profile. You cannot declare attacks except with zombie monsters, being a continuous spell. You can only use each of the following effects of Cursed Eldland once per turn. You can pay 800 life points to add 1 Eldlich or 1 Golden Land spell and trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent from the spell and trap card zone to the graveyard, you can send 1 Eldlich monster or 1 Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. So with some of the traps having banish effects being very beneficial for that, or even just search power for our main go-to monster, gives us more, count of this card to summon out onto the field. So a definite 3 of just with its overall initial setup and the easy search power that this card has with the powerhouse of just limiting you to zombie monsters. No big, problem there either, since a good amount of the extra deck cards we'll go into will just revolve around being burn damage against our opponent. Another more expensive card is Eldlich, the Black Awakening. You special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand or deck in defense position, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters with this effect. And for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for zombie monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard to set 1 Golden Land spell or trap directly from your deck, and you can only use 1 Eldlich, the Black Awakening effect, but only once per turn, and only once that turn. So with this, it's search power. And if you don't have this card, I know that this and Cursed Eldland are both, kind of pricey cards. So I've been testing out some more draw power. You can always go with, Upstart Goblin and also Pot of Desires, just to fill in some of the spots. Desires will banish and, get rid of some of your resources in the deck, but you can at least rely on it for some draw and then just substituting those cards in when you get the numbers of Eldlich and also Cursed Eldland for those additional spots. I also run 3 Eldlich of White Destiny. You special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters with this effect. deck. And for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you can have special summon monsters except for zombie monsters, and during your main phase, being able to banish this card to set a golden land spell or trap directly from your deck. More setup, and the fact that it's a quick play spell makes it that much easier for the setup of your Eldlich Golden Lord onto the field, that much faster as well using this card. So it's definitely why I run 3 of it, because you have the graveyard option as well, and giving you more and more recycle power with all the other spells we run in the deck. And then for the newest of the Eldlich spells, I run the 7 cities of Golden Land. Now, you might want to increase this number. If you were to do so, I can show you what numbers to take out for some of these spell and trap count to add additional numbers. But with each fusion monster you run, you can just, add in additional numbers. During your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using only zombie monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. If a zombie monster is special summoned by card effect, except during the damage step, you can target 1 set spell or trap card in that zone, and that set card cannot be activated this turn. So it's kind of a lockdown card, but also the benefit of being your fusion go-to spell in the deck to summon out our Madden Lord, as I set a card face down as well. Yeah, with this card being, like I said, your go-to card to fusion out the Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, you can increase this number, but I'll show what cards you can take out to reduce and then just increase this number if you wanted to add more and focus heavily on the fusion plays. And for some of the final spots for these spells, I also run 3 Pot of Extravagance. I figured we were already being pretty expensive with this deck. In total, I can't believe that this card is now one of the more affordable cards for the deck with its golden rare. But Pot of Extravagance is just more draw power. You don't focus as much on extra deck plays, and you run multiple copies on a good amount of them, aside from the fact that the Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, being your go-to card, but having more draw power to rely on with this card is a big plus for sure. And if you wanted to, fully max this card out without hitting the fusion monster, you can always just run 3 copies of the fusion monster in total. And then to finish off these spells, just the 1 Call by the Grave. You have plenty of special summon power alone with our, Elixir of White Destiny and also the Elixir of Black Awakening for special summoning our Eldlich monster onto the field. So I feel you don't really need Monster Reborn. This is just to help against our opponent with some of their other plays with our additional lockdown when we get to the traps. With the main lineup for our traps being Conquistador of the Golden Land. You special summon this card as a normal monster, a zombie light level 5 attack monster, and this card is also still treated as a trap. Then if you control Eldlich, the Golden Lord, you can destroy 1 face-up card on the field, and during the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to set 1 Elixir spell or trap directly from your deck. You can only use 1 Conquistador of Golden Land effect per turn, and only once that turn. So this also helps just giving us the additional monster we need, because the requirements for the Mad Golden Lord are 1 Eldlich monster and 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster. Being the zombie monster, while our Golden Lord is the main go-to monster, these are the 2 requirements for summoning out the fusion monster. So very easy to get this card out and then just destroy one of our opponent's cards. That's why we're running 3 of it as well in the deck. Definitely needed for that setup, and it also gives us some options for some rank 5 plays if we were to use the extra deck. I also run potentially 3. I have the Guardian of Golden Land as a substitute in the deck, but you do want to run 3 Elixir of Scarlet Sanguine. You special summon 1 zombie monster from your deck or graveyard, but if you control no Eldlich monsters, you can only special summon Eldlich monsters, and with this effect. And for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except for zombie monsters. The effects really do run together for all these, just having a few differences, but the set spell or trap effect from your deck still stands for the Golden Land setup. And the fact that that works like that, you can even set up your fusion spell, even though we're running lower numbers of that in the deck. If you want to drop any numbers, the potential trap card lineup could be some of the spots to drop those numbers, but you can also go for some of the more generic traps, which we'll get to in just a bit. For a few more of the Golden Land traps, I run 2 Haiquero of Golden Land. I really hope that's how you pronounce it. Might be wrong there, but special summon this card as a normal monster, zombie light level 5. So it's another zombie monster option for a trap on the field, and being able to banish 1 card from either graveyard with this one. And during the end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to set 1 Elixir spell or trap card directly from your deck. It's just another level 5 option for our monsters on the field, working great with the Conquistador. So having both of these options available to us, just easy monsters to summon out if we're also, running short on some of our Eldlich the Golden Lord, which you really shouldn't be with the lineup we're running for our spell cards. And then for our counter trap For the Golden Land, I also run 3 Golden Land Forever. Now, of all the cards I had, I can't believe I only had 1 copy of this card, but just substituting in Solemn Judgment, and you can do the same if you need copies of this. Golden Land Forever, when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control an Eldlich monster, tribute 1 zombie monster and negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. You can only activate 1 Golden Land Forever per turn. So you have plenty of monster options, whether it be our one and only Golden Lord, or the Conquistador, or even the other of the continuous traps we're running for the setup. Just 3 good counter traps. I'm about to say continuous traps, but counter trap for that setup. For more of the generics, I also run 3 Paleozoic Deinonychus, with the fact that you have to target a card on the field and discard a card means you can set up a good amount of any of our different Golden Lord or Golden Land traps or spells in the graveyard to then set up for the additional set of other ones from our deck. So 3 Deinonychus helps with banishing our opponent's cards and helping to set up that play. And I also run 3 Solemn Strike. If you were to run Golden Land Forever as well with this card, you can even try swapping out and substituting in Golden Land Forever with strikes instead of judgments, and then put the judgments in this spot. It's player preference at that point. I like the strikes, just they don't take up as many life points as a Solemn Judgment would, having the Solemn Judgment to rely on for the spell and trap negation along with Golden Land Forever. And then for some of the additional one-ofs, I run 1 Skill Drain, 1 Imperial Order, and the 1 Summon Limit. The Summon Limit can be an option to take out with the Fusion play, just for the fact that you'll have to rely on at least, I would say, 3 plays for the Fusion unless you have the monster set up previously. So Summon Limit can contradict that play. So taking out a Summon Limit for an additional spot for the 7 Cities of Golden Land, or even the Call by the Grave to add a 3rd copy of that card, is what I would recommend. But Imperial Order and Skill Drain are great for this deck, just stopping so many more plays while still being able to rely on our spell and traps to finish our opponent. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I have the 1 copy of the Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, and we've been over this before, but the 1 Eldlich monster and the 1 level 5 or higher zombie monster, and this card's name becomes Eldlich, the Golden Lord, while on the field, which definitely helps for just our special summon options. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, and you contribute 1 zombie monster, then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, take control of that card, but it cannot attack or activate its effects. This turn, you can only use this effect of Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, once per turn. It's a permanent monster gain. Having 3,800 attack and 3,500 defense is a true powerhouse boss monster, which, like I said, I would recommend running some additional copies. If I were, I'll show what cards you can take out from the extra deck. But being limited to some of our attack plays, I also run the 2 Gustav Max. Burn damage is big against our opponent with this card. You don't have to attack, you just have to detach 1 material from this card, and using our Golden Land monsters to make this makes it all the easier, especially with Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord, also being another level 10, if need be, to go into this card, and having the other Eldlich, the Golden Lords, for this option also. For more destruction power, I also run 1 number 81, and also 1 Sky Palace Gongra die. For other rank 10 plays, most of the time I like to go for Gustav Max, but I like having the additional options with Extravagance in the extra deck to go into. I also run 2 Juggernaut Leave, freshly reprinted from Legendary Duelist Season 2. A great card to rely on just for more powerhouse plays, getting our boss monster by overlaying using our rank 10 machine monsters. And for the rank 5 plays, I run 1 number 61 Volcasaurus and 1 Wind Up Zimao. More destruction and burn power with the level 5 traps that we summon out onto the field, and being able to go into Gaia Dragon the Thunder Charger using these cards makes them all the better for usage. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Underclock Taker, and the 1 Nightmare Unicorn. I would say we go into the Xyz monsters more than the Link monsters in this deck. So if you were to add in more of the Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord fusion monster, you can try taking out, let's say, the Underclock Taker, and then maybe 1 of the Xyz, either Gongra Die or more than likely number 81, for the additional spots for the fusion cards. And that is it for the deck profile. For most of the plays, it revolves around just your setup. You have plenty of the spells to activate going into the different special summons and searches for your main go-to monster. And then most of the plays will play off of that, being able to then summon out your monster and have the additional trap setup. If you have your fusion play and you have one of your traps that can summon out onto a monster on the field, all the better, because then that makes your requirement also being able to take care of one of your opponent's plays, and then go for the fusion play by fusion summoning a fusion monster using zombie monsters from your hand or field. So it can even be in your hand. You can just summon out the 1 onto the field and then have have the option to special summon the card back onto the field using Eldlich or the White Destiny. So after getting your fusion monster out, special summoning Eldlich Lord, and then after having both of these power plays, being able to then go into the much bigger Gustav Max for more burn damage against your opponent. But once again, I hope you all enjoy the video. Like I said, this isn't a deck I normally do. I know it's one of the more higher meta versions, but I wanted to focus on a version that uses more of the pure build. They're definitely one of my more favorite ways to go about building decks, and I don't know what we have in store for this deck on the ban list, but I'm sure they'll do something with it being a pretty powerhouse deck in the meta at the moment. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.